How? Hello there. Right. First of all, I've had a little bit, haven't been uploading much, haven't had much content for me recently because I've not been too good. I have Lyme's disease, and it you have periods where it comes back and it really, really does take lumps out of you, and is exactly what it's been doing to me recently. So that's here. But that being said, um, I just want to talk a little bit about upcoming and what the future holds for this channel. Well, it's not much, just what I'm thinking of the next series of videos or a few videos on. And I've done quite a few videos, apart from reviewing bows and things like that, on these sort of bows, which is the sort of like the quick 20-minute knock together survival style bow that lasts and works. And I started making survival type bows probably about 2.5-3 years ago, and went from different materials and different things and different, had looks at lots of different possibilities, and I settled on these tent poles. The other one that I would actually say is a viable option is if you can get an old Venetian blind, you can get some of the fiberglass tubes out of that. They work really, really well, even given the same pattern as these. And also, if you live in the country and you've got lots of farms with electric fencing around, the electric fencing posts, nod to the wise, they're good for making up these. But this style design with the bracing bit in the middle and shooting off one side, shooting off the side of the main pole, is these work fine. These work absolutely fine, and I mean, this one shot thousands of hours already, and I'm going to shoot this one and shoot this one and shoot this one until it is no more. Okay, until it collapses. But a survival bow is something that you need to be able to make up quickly. You need to be able to make up without any serious tools, and you'd be able to make up with what's available, bits and pieces that are available. And I think this fits the criteria really, really well. And I even knocked this one together without any insulation tape, because where I only had a tiny bit of insulation tape, and that ran out. So I have bodged a bit of gaffer tape on there at a later date. Now, this is no good at all. This is useless without one of these, the arrow. And one of the things I'd like to do this year, or over the next few months or so, it's a bit of a dive into making arrows, but not sort of like, oh, this is how we make arrows, and this is how the Comanches made arrows, and this is how the Vikings made arrows, as you see in the previous videos, and this is how, this is the way that they made them for the Mary Rose, and this is the way, No, what we're talking about is making arrows out of materials that are would be readily available in a survival situation, and that require, same as this bow, the minimal amount of toolage. Okay, they will require more toolage to make an arrow than it is to make a bow, but I'm sure we can get it down to its bare minimum. Now these, I mean, I have knocked this together fairly recently. Now this this warhead here is an old saw, made from an old saw. It's if I do that, get it to focus, it's very, very similar. It is actually similar to what they call the American Indians, the Plains Indians used when they got hold of the metal. They cut these out and made metal tips for their arrows in a very, very similar fashion. But that's one of the heads that I'm going to be making, and I'm going to sort of research making better ones or easy ones and everything like that. You've got the flights, which I've known people say, oh, you can use gaffer tape to make flights and everything like that. but there's lots of birds flying around and there's loads of feathers coming off these birds. So I'm going to be using mostly a pigeon and crow feathers, and possibly some pheasant feathers as well, because there's plenty of pheasant around here as well. And the knock, well, we can show how to make the knock. There's very easy ways to make the knock. This one is I mean, we spoke about it in the previous video, but I'm going to stick to that for the time being. But I am going to think, oh, the other thing is the stick. Yes, of course, the stick. And we're going to go stick hunting and find out what is the best stick we can just cut green and make an arrow out of. Because if you're going to have to do it in a survival situation, you haven't got time to sort of season your arrows. Now, this is seasoned ash. That, you know, it's, you know, so I made, you know, so threw this arrow together out of seasoned ash. And I've used glue, tape, and a bit of well, it's serving cord just to get the arrows up, the fletching on. So watch this space, and we'll come up with the easiest way to make ammo for this thing. Okay, an ammo. It's got to fulfill several criteria. Yeah, it's got to be easy to make without lots of tools. I mean, there are component parts to this. You know, the feathers are readily available. They've got to be readily available. The sticks are readily available. I'm sure we can find enough steel to make little tips like this, and they've got to work. Now, I can attest. You've probably seen it in previous videos if you watched any of the previous videos. So, as a young lad, I was shot by a homemade arrow. So, yes, you know, they can actually work. And so let's see where we end up on this one. I'm not doing much shooting today because I'm still a bit of a funny color. I can see that, like, yeah. And I will see you on the other side. Meanwhile, happy shooting, and may your arrows always, always, always fly straight. And remember, it's not the equipment, it's the human being behind the equipment that makes all the difference. And you're going to see this is the first arrow of the week. After I've not been out shooting for about over a week. This is about the longest in a long, long while. So this could go anywhere. This could go. I'm going to be looking for an arrow probably. Right over the top. Peace.